Hey guys, guess what? So I am back in the flesh. This video is a little different from my previous videos. I've been trying to get this video done in the most amount of probably in like the last 2 months, but I haven't gotten a chance to. But now I am here and we're gonna get right into it. So this video is all about how to buy a house step by step. So this is a 101, and if you would like, go ahead and grab your pen and your notebook and take notes, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So first you wanna go ahead, I'm gonna look down because obviously you guys can tell, I have my notepad here and I just want you guys to, I really want you guys to know this because, you know, it really helped me get to, I was around, actually, I think the right people at the right time that had my best interest at heart. So I think that's where my learning came from. But for the most part, this is what I want you guys to see. These are things you should know before you want to buy a house, or if you had already considered buying a house, this is what you should know, okay? So the first one is going to be, you need to know that it is a huge commitment when buying a house, because when you get a house, like, you have to set money aside for your roof, your, you know, your washer, dryer, your dishwasher, like anything, your shower, like plumbing, electricity, your air conditioning, anything that you have to fix, or if you are renting right now that your landlord have to fix, you need to know that you're going to be responsible for that. So it's not only just owning a house or a townhouse or a condo. You are going to be responsible for all the maintenance that's happening, unless you have your husband. If your husband is a handyman, then good. And if you are a handyman, like if it's a woman that's a handyman, then good for her too. But if you guys are not good at that, you're going to need to put money aside to pay whomever is an expertise at that to get it done. But it's very helpful to have someone that's handy around the house. So knowing it's a huge commitment, it's a long-term commitment unless you are smart about it and you're flipping houses. So I know a lot of people that flip houses. They will stay there for about a year and they would sell the home. Like if the home is let's say the home is like $60,000, right? They would probably have someone in their family pay them rent to stay there for about a year or however long they want to stay there. And as soon as they don't want it anymore, they sell it for like 30,000-40,000 more, and then they get paid off whatever the commission is, or whatever like the break even is. And then not the break even, but if you make like a certain amount of money, I'll go there probably in my next video. But in the meantime, this is going to be like how you buy a house. So we're going to get to the first one, which is you want to dig deep down in yourself and make sure like this is what you want to do. So if this is what you want to do, this may be the opportunity for you, okay? And, you know, really have to settle in, like, are you ready? You know, have you figured out how to budget your money and how to spend your money, you know? Making sure that you have a steady income, because what they're going to do is go back into, like, if you apply to the banks of what you want, like in the house and how much you want to spend, they're going to go back to see how far you've been working in that field of where you've been working at, okay? Because they are interested and they want to know how steady you are with keeping a steady income. They're going to do their budgeting for you. You can do your budgeting. This is why it's good for you to watch this video, so you know what to look for when you're dealing with the banks, because the information that I'm going to give you is the same thing that the banks are looking for. So you don't have to worry about budgeting, because they're going to do their budgeting for you. They're going to make sure you have a steady income, and they're going to do your debt to ratio. So they're going to check for that. And then they're also going to check your credit rate. So if you have credit cards that you need to pay for, I'm going to tell you right now, pay all your credits down. You need to pay those down, because it's very important that you watch your spending. Do not go out and buy major purchases such as a car or something that you have to, it's like, don't go get a loan on anything that you have to make monthly payments for, including a credit card, because that's going to go against you buying a house. And if you guys want to do that after, because you feel like your credit score will be high, then fine. But I would say you guys do not go out and buy major things until you have stayed in a house at least a good 6 months to a year, so you know how to balance and budget your way in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. Again, they want to make sure you have stable employment at your job. And they're going to ask for at least 2 to 4 months of paycheck stubs, to see, like, if let's just say you switch jobs in between, and if it's in the same field, they're okay. But if it's not in the same field, they're probably going to question, why did you switch, jobs and everything. So you're going to have your paperwork lined up with that if you have not been at your job more than 2 years consecutively. Okay. Sales and marketing, like if you're in sales and marketing or a representative that you are getting paid on commission, now that's going to go against you kind of, because your income is not going to look steady. It's always going to fluctuate. So you may want to find a balance in between how you're going to get the banks, or how you're going to convince the banks that you are stable enough and your career is stable enough for you to buy a home. Okay, so it's all about convincing. Like when it's getting any loan, especially in sales and marketing, that's not guaranteed if you're living off commission. So you really have to know what you're doing if you are in sales and marketing. Next, we're going to go to for this too. We're going to go to affordability. Don't buy like too much of a house. Okay. Don't spend more than 30% of your income on a house. So let's just say you make $3,500 every 2 weeks, and then your salary is about $7,000 a month. So you want to make sure that your mortgage is not over, like, I say, like $2,000 a month. The reason I'm saying this, and I know it sounds dramatic, and let's just get lower with the numbers. You don't want to go over 30% of your income. We'll bring it down. Let's just say normally people make about like $3,000. Let's just say normally like $3,000 a month, and then every 2 weeks you get paid $1,500. Like, you want your mortgage to be at least like $1,000 for that month, like $1,000 to $1,200 a month, depending on how much you make. If it's one person, like for me, I'm only one person, so you have to be considerate. If you guys are buying a house and you're not married, and whoever name is on that house, you want to make sure. I'm telling the head person, make sure that if this person decides to leave today or tomorrow, you want to make sure that you cover yourself and you're not dependent on someone to cover your monthly payments, because you're going to be the one that own the house, or you're going to be the head of the house and they could walk away at any time. So you got to be smart about your money when you're doing these things. Also, I can go into another thing to where if you're buying a house before you actually get married or into a relationship, you want to make sure that you keep that under wraps with under your belt and what you have. But again, just make sure it's under 30%, and you'll be okay. You can also still save, but it won't be as much. But I say if it's 2 people and you guys are working, make sure at least one party is saving, regardless of how much you're spending. Make sure one party is saving. You both have access to that account. Okay. Number three. This is going to be like for the down payment and the closing costs. So the down payment and closing costs is going to be different, because you have the FHA, and then you have the VA, which is kind of in the same category, and then you have a conventional loan. A conventional loan is something that's really normal. The reason I'm going fast is because I know exactly what I'm talking about. When I'm sure about what I'm talking about, I get kind of fast, and I'm telling you forceful exactly what I'm saying. So the conventional is like conventional. You're doing it traditional. You can say conventional is kind of traditional, to where nothing's, it's just either buying and selling, period. That's it. And conventional, you're more than likely going to put 20% down. But if you're going through like the VA or the FHA loan, the FHA loan is something that I use in particular, because the FHA loan allows the government to step in and say, hey, you don't have to put a 20% down. You're going to do at least like 3 to 6% down. And that's really low, guys. You guys need to take advantage of what's available to you, but you wouldn't know unless, when you're buying a house. So when you talk to the banks, tell them you want to go through the FHA loan. If you've been in the Army, you want to say you want to use your VA credentials so that you can also get a lower down payment on the home that you choose to stay in. Okay. It could be from, like I said, conventionals also can be from 3% to 20%. But like I said, if you guys go through, I wanted to give you guys this information too. So if you guys have, let's just say you bought a home, right? The FHA loan is a first-time home buyers. That's what that is. But if you guys also want to do FHA too, let's just say you have moms. Mom's been in that house for like years, okay? And then mom has bought that house, and it's been over 3 years that she bought the house. And if you guys want to sell, if you guys don't owe any money on the house, the loan has been paid for and has been covered for 3 years, mom can if you guys want to buy another house, mom can reapply for FHA loan because it's been over 3 years that she has applied for a loan from a bank to purchase a home. So first-time home buyers with a loan that you haven't bought a home in like 3 years and you owe nothing on your other home, you can buy a house for FHA loan again. Okay, so just FYI, you guys need to know that. This video is going to be it's going to be a little long. I'm trying to make it short, but this is great information you would like to know. For the closing costs is going to be a little expensive, so keep in mind that you can be paying from $3,000 to $6,000 or more, depending on the house that you're buying, that your closing cost is going to be very expensive. You can also negotiate with the seller saying, hey, because you got two sellers. You have the bank seller, and then you have the person that may be staying in the home that you're buying from. So there's so many options out there that you guys need to be aware and do your research before investing into these things. With people that are selling the home, you can negotiate to, split the closing costs. So if you're the only buyer and the people really want to sell their home, you can tell them if they cover the closing costs, you're ready to buy the house. But, if you have a lot of offers, you might want to consider covering the closing costs. But if you're buying from a bank, you're guaranteed to do the closing costs. So I just want to give that heads up. Closing costs could be expensive. To avoid the private mortgage insurance or the PMI, which is your private mortgage insurance, like let's just say if you're doing an FHA loan or VA loan, like you're doing a lower mortgage percentage, you're going to do a PMI loan. With the PMI loan is like $50 to $100 on top of the mortgage that you pay, but it's not really that much, guys. Don't be intimidated by it. The PMI only lasts for 5 years, but you need to write this down and keep in mind and put a schedule in your calendar. If you use a Google Calendar or Microsoft Calendar, make sure that you mark down that 5 year mark that you had a loan that your PMI should close off. You might have to tell the banks, because if you do not call the banks and let them know that you should not be paying any more PMI after 5 years, they will keep charging you. So you have to stay on top of that. This is why I'm telling you guys to put it in your Google Calendar. After 5 years, if you decide to go with the VHA or FHA loan, to put in your calendars 5 years, call your mortgage company and tell them, please take off the PMI. I have paid my insurance for the mortgage, and you're covered for that. You only have to pay for 5 years. So your pre-approval letter. Now, this is after you did all your research, and you want to make sure that you guys doing your research on your pre-approval letters, because the banks will give you a pre-approval letter, and this will likely speed up the time or the person that's selling the home. This will likely speed up their decision to sell you that home, because that paper guarantees that they're going to get paid whatever they're offering or whatever money that you have. So if you're just coming to them just saying, hey, I want to buy this home with no paper shown, like, people are going to be like, yeah, are they serious at buying or not? But when you show someone a pre-approval letter, they think that you are serious in buying the home. So just keep that in mind. Just remember, you can get any realtor agent. Every agent is important. You have to be careful and make sure that they have your best interests at heart. Hold on. You want to make sure that your agents have your best interests at heart, because people will do crazy things and not tell you what's going on. They will be on the seller's side so they can get more money out of you. But if the realtor has your best interests at heart, if the representative have your best interest, you're going to get a deal on the house. So this is why it's important, you guys. I know like watching HGTV could be boring, but if you guys watch HGTV for information. You can see how to negotiate, because some have the buyer's heart, some have the buyer's interest, and then some don't. So you have to keep that in mind. And your agent could be anyone from a family member who's a realtor, or a friend who's a realtor, or a recommended realtor, or someone that you're close with. Doesn't matter. Just make sure that the person that's representing you have your best interest at heart. Okay. So now you need to consider, now that you've got a pre-approval letter for your home, you want to make sure that you are aware of the square footage that you're buying and the assessments, because the square footage matter in the neighborhoods that you're buying. The home that you are interested in, I'm going to recommend you guys go twice or 3 times the weekend, or you want to go twice on a weekend in that neighborhood and park somewhere, and you want to just watch the neighborhood to see what's going on. Let your windows down. You just want to see what's going on in the neighborhood before you move in. And you also want to go during the week. I would say a Tuesday, because Monday everybody's tired. Tuesday families get to going again. And Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, I would say go about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and you'll see what's going on in that neighborhood to see if you're interested in staying there or not. Okay, so you want to be aware of that stuff. Also, how people do their trash, how often do they cut their yard. So you guys want to be aware of your neighbors as well. Because if any day you want to sell your property, you best believe, people do look around to see how the neighbors are living, how you're living, how the yard is looking. And, sometimes people could mess up your money because they're not interested in what you're interested in. Everything you do matters. I just want to give that out there. So you also want to take a look at your yearly taxes. And when you're applying for your home, if you're a first-time home buyer or with the VA, you want to make sure that you're going to Homestead, to your nearest county, to get a homestead and a tax break on your taxes for the year. Because if you have a higher taxes, let's say you're paying like $3,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 for your taxes, a homestead will bring it down to at least like $1,700 to $2,000. Okay, so the taxes can be high, and in places you may have a low mortgage, but your taxes will be extremely high, and so will your HOA. So you want to keep that in mind. Then now you can go ahead and make an offer, and everything is negotiable. Do not go and do not go and say, hey, I'll buy this house because this is what you're selling it for. Negotiate. You can knock off thousands of dollars by opening your mouth and say, if you're selling this for $220, then I mean $220K. I see, the washing machine is not working. The roof needs to be repaired. You could easily knock off like $10,000 with little creaks and crevices. Your home inspector will see that it needs attention to certain things. So the things that he's telling you, make sure that you're writing these things down to keep them in mind when you do your negotiation on the house that you want to buy. Make sure that is written. Just because somebody give you a handshake on it, or because someone give you a verbal commitment, does not mean that they are committed. You guys, I don't know if you guys watch court TV or not, but verbal commitments and handshakes do not mean anything. Make sure it's on paper, okay? That's it, period. Just make sure it's on paper. I know I'm getting serious about it, but this is a big decision that if you guys want to do this, make sure that you're paying attention to important details. Because if you have to take it to court, when you guys are in closing and you say, oh, I want to, this guy told me he's going to knock $10,000 off, but there's nothing written down on it that's confirming what you're saying, it's just going to look like you're in La La Land, okay? The home inspections. Make sure that you guys are actually getting these home inspections, and make sure that your home inspection is the people that you are getting home inspections from, make sure they're just not telling you anything. And the home inspections could be a little pricey. Some are like $500 to $700 for a home inspection. So if you guys want to make sure that you are budgeting for a home inspector too, and a property appraiser, because most times the property appraisers are also sent by the banks, but it depends on the bank that you're using. They'll pay for the home inspection or you will. So keep that in mind too, guys. And that's probably like another $300 to $500. So when you're buying a home, listen, you're spending big. It's like baller spending, okay? So just keep that in mind. And for the appraisal, when you guys are doing appraisal, the appraisal inspector, which is two different things, home inspector and appraisal inspector. The appraisal inspector will go out and assess the property, assess the land to see how valuable it is, how often, you know, the money's going up in the property value, and the neighborhood. They'll do all that inspections. They're going to do the square foot appraisal, and then that's how they're going to appraise a house, and now you get your assessment every year. If you guys look on Zillow or Realtor.com, you'll see your, even if your house is not for sale, they still have your assessment on what your house value is worth. And if you find any blemishes in the house, you can use that as some kind of ammunition to get your price down to where you want it, you know, or negotiating. And here's another thing. If you guys haven't already, if you like these videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will pump out more. Be sure to leave your questions down in the description box, and I'll be sure to answer them either directly or make another video if I get enough questions, okay? All right, so don't forget to subscribe. Next, we'll have like the repairs and the credit. So make sure, like, when you, if they did okay, and give you a written notice with negotiating the price for any blemishes that you have in your home, make sure that you're getting credit for that at the closing. And if anything needs to be fixed before you get there, make sure that the seller is replacing or fixing the blemishes or whatever it is that may be, like a hole in the wall, or, you know, the ceiling needs to be done. And you guys make sure that your home inspector is checking your roof insulation to be sure that you have enough insulation in the house, because that's very important and a lot of people miss that. So make sure you, and insulation is the pink stuff that you put in the walls and on the roof to make sure that it's hot or cold whenever the seasons are rotating. So another thing is make sure you're asking your seller to fix anything, okay? And then before you do the complete selling, let's say you're going to close on a Wednesday, you want to walk through the house one more time on a Tuesday to make sure that the people that are moving out of that house, make sure that they didn't put any holes in the walls, taking down TVs, or you don't have any holes in the walls from them moving their laundry, their appliances or anything. Make sure that all 4 stoves or all 4 irons, the tops are working. Make sure that the ovens are working, because sometimes, you know, the top oven, if they're leaving the ovens in, the top iron will work, the bottom won't, or the bottom will work, the top won't. The microwave, you guys have a built-in range in a microwave. Make sure that the range is working, your microwave, your light, make sure the fan is working. You want to make sure that your glass sliding door is working, it's not off track. You guys want to keep in mind of these things, because this stuff people can get away with without you even noticing, because it's not in the eyes of parents, you know. You'll only notice it once it stopped working. So again, make sure you are checking everything with the final walkthrough and all the details. And make sure that if your owner is there, make sure that they tell you, make sure that you can get them to show you everything that you need to know before they leave. Because once they leave, they might not answer the phone again, because, honey, it's sold, okay? The closing disclosures, be sure to check all the numbers that are still the same. Make sure no one has manipulated any numbers and you're not sure of. If you're not sure of the numbers that you're looking at, make sure that you are going to the people that could help you, or have someone come with you to closing that can maybe explain to you what's going on. The realtor will be there, but you know, most of the time they just sit around and make sure that the deal is done. They don't get involved in paperwork, because it's just not their duties. But if you have a good realtor, they're going to give you the best information that you can. My realtor sent me home with all the insurance information I needed, all the contacts I needed to fix anything. Like, I had a really good realtor with my endeavors. So I still keep him to this day. He's a really good guy. Like, I just ran into him at the post office. He's really good. 7 states closing down payments. Make sure they might have you, you know, wire the money. So you guys have to be aware that you do have to pay for wiring the money too. So if you guys have to wire money, that's going to be another cost. Okay, keep that in mind. So just understand that houses are big responsibilities. You will have to put away yearly for annual dysfunctions in the house. A lot of the times I see a lot of people go on vacations and stuff. Someone's like, dang man, I want to go on vacation. But guess what? I have a house that I own that I have to take care of. I put my priorities before my pleasures, and sometimes my pleasures come before anything. And I mean, sometimes, sorry about that, sometimes my priorities come before anything. So I'm not going to just go out and go on a vacation because I need to do this or that. I'd rather withdraw, because by the time I don't stay with anyone, no one's staying with me, so I have to take responsibility on what I have to pay for. Because at the end of the day, my properties gain so much assets, and thankful to God, like my property values, all of them has increased so much that if I was to sell today or tomorrow, I would be good. And you know, it's called a little bit of sacrificing, because people don't see that slingshot from you sitting back, not being able to do things, but because I do everything myself, I'm not gonna lie, I can't do everything on my own. Like, I save and then try to put up, but it's not easy, but it's worth it, guys. If you have a partner, I'm telling you, it's really worth it if you guys are committed to it and put God first in everything that you do, okay? And he will guide and direct you. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys, again, have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Ciao.